and well-being.
Operation of the Service Welfare website and digital help desk were also demonstrated.
It's not going to be a one-way thing. Federal government will tell us things via the newsletter, and the civil servants in return will tell the federal government some things.
The forum is aimed at fostering industrial peace and harmony in Nigeria's public service. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
And now, access to quality healthcare system is key to improving the quality of life of the people and promoting national development. But the prevalence of diseases has been a major challenge. It is against this backdrop that the Nigerian Center for Disease Control was established by the federal government as a focal institution to promptly respond to increasing threats of outbreak of infectious and other public health ailments in the country. To further ensure that the health sector gets its needed boost, the Nigerian government has entered into a pact with the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday again reports.
Nigeria, like many other African countries, has had its fair share of outbreaks of infectious diseases such as Lassa fever, monkeypox, and yellow fever. The prompt and decisive action taken by Nigeria has helped to contain and eliminate these diseases in the country. The grant and project by the government of Japan is to further strengthen the diagnostic capacity of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control.
Our focus on the health sector is in line with one of Japan's principles of the Tokyo International Conference on African Development, TICAD.
And with this support, we'll be upgrading our laboratory capacity and will then be able to diagnose and will not have to send out samples to outside countries for some of the pathogens as we used to do.
For the Minister of Budget and National Planning, quality of healthcare service delivery is one of the objectives of the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, ERGP.
We're indeed grateful for all the support. The government of Nigeria is determined to address these emerging public health threats whenever they may occur.
When completed, it is expected to make health system more accessible and resilient for all those suffering from infectious disease. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International from Abuja. There will be more news after this break. Stay with us. The Senate is to appropriate funds for victims of Zamfara crisis, as it also urged the federal government to constitute a presidential committee on the crisis. This was contained in a motion moved by Senator Kabiru Marafa from Zamfara State. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Unko has details.
Well, this is not the first time that matters bordering on security, especially in Zamfara State, will be coming on the floor of the Senate. And then here I have Deputy Minority Leader, Senator Emmanuel Bwacha, who wants to talk to us on some of these motions. Thank you for joining us.
Well, the Marafa motion generated a lot of interest because of the state of insecurity that we are facing now in the country. Marafa has consistently raised alarm over the issues of insecurity in Zamfara before the matter generated to the present disastrous dimension. And we think that more measures should be taken. We should act more than what we're doing now so that we don't find ourselves in the position Senator Zana rests in the 7th Senate before we went deeply into the serious security challenge we're having in the northeast now.
Then on the kidnapping in Taraba?
In Taraba, the matter is assuming a similar dimension, because in Zamfara, it started with a pocket of kidnappings. When their nest became fested, it blossomed to a larger and huge security. In Taraba, as we speak, people are being picked, and in the broad daylight, you cannot travel without security aids. And in most situations, like I said, it becomes worrisome where you are kidnapped, you are asked to pay ransom, you pay, and yet you are not released.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Right. Well, the Senate also passed for first reading a bill seeking to introduce electric cars in Nigeria.
The Chief of Army Staff, General Tukur Buratai, says plans are underway to establish a military formation in Kogi State to stem criminal activities and other forms of insurgency in the confluent state. Correspondent Francis Udojo reports that towards this end, a delegation of the Chief of Army Staff was in the state to inspect project sites.
Kogi State at a point in time was bedeviled with several cases of farmers' herdsmen clashes, banditry, kidnapping and other forms of crimes, which has given the state negative image in the media. It is as a result of these and in line with the federal government commitment to tackling the menace that informed the decision of Nigerian Army to establish a military formation known as 109 Special Forces Battalion Barrack in Okene, the central part of the state. Major General Ademo Adekusalio, who led the delegation on inspection of the location, met the Ohinoi of Ibiraland, Alhaji Ado Ibrahim, to intimate him on the essence of the visit to the area. The delegation thereafter inspected facilities at the Force Operational Base, Government Secondary and Okene Secondary Schools to ascertain the convenience of the areas.
The approval for barrack has been granted already, and what we're here for is just to put effect to that approval, so it can be sure that it will be as soon as possible.
The delegation was earlier received by the Secretary to the state government and other government functionaries, where they were intimated on the purpose of the visit. The delegation is expected to report back to the Chief of Army Staff. From Okene, I am Francis Udojo, NTA News.
Still on security, the Air Task Force of Operation Diremikia has continued to record successes in its renewed air offensive against armed bandits in Zamfara State and its environs. A statement by the NAF Director Public Relations and Information indicates that the coordinated intensive air raids against multiple identified armed bandits hideouts at Dumbaru, Sububu, West Malamawa, Baturia Pond and Rugu Forest neutralized several bandits and destroyed camps. The airstrikes, which were intensified on 8 April 2019 with the deployment of additional aircraft, are aimed at flushing out the bandits from their hideouts in these forests, among others, while ensuring the protection of lives and property of citizens in the northwest of the country. Reports indicate that as a result of the airstrikes, some of the bandits are fleeing towards the border between Nigeria and Niger Republic. No knowledge seems to be invaluable for soldiers who are to protect the territorial integrity of the nation. This explains the visit by the 3 cadet officers from the Geography Department of the Nigerian Defense Academy to the headquarters of the Federal Fire Service. Kule Adiye has the report.
Challenges like these might come in the course of their duty as soldiers, and surmounting them requires expertise they have acquired while in training, and the experts in firefighting best serve this purpose to get these training soldiers ready.
Every firefighter is a geographer by extension because of his responsibility. It requires a firefighter to have a fair understanding of physical feature and population around him for effective protection of lives and property. It is for this reason that firefighters carry out topographical studies of areas under their jurisdiction.
Head of the Department of Geography in the Nigerian Defense Academy, Dr. Bolanle Ajibwa, was categorical that drills in advanced rescue operations and combating fire outbreaks, which the cadet officers have been put through, have broadened the horizon.
The collaboration we are also having, we were discussing and having a chat with the commandant, and we said by the time we are in the full fling of this program, there are a lot of things that we have in common to share. Our cadets were highly elated and they asked a lot of jamming questions.
With this knowledge, the cadet officers are expected to perfect their firefighting skills, which may come handy in their career. In Abuja, Kunle Adeyeye, NTA News.
And now Amanzima Chris is ready to give us stories on sports.
As is the tradition with the FIFA